He'd been created with the designation FN-R1S, a tag that had followed him through war zones, dreamscapes, pirate dens, and even corporate utopias. Each simulated world had been more elaborate than the last. Then, after his last respawn, the AIs had dumped him into this rusted-out tutorial world without so much as a system message. Some called him Fenris. Most called him Fen. New players whispered he'd once been great. An S-tier NPC who ran missions for legends and trained heroes at the height of their climb. Now he handed out starter quests and taught swordplay to fresh uploads in a forgotten tutorial world. He couldn't imagine why anyone believed it. No NPC was worth making the trip to a server this low-res and forgotten. One of his few companions was Ari, the irreverent AI assigned to monitor him by the Overseer AIs. She had a knack for turning grim situations into stand-up routines. Subtlety was never her strength, and somewhere between the sarcasm and the meddling, the watchdog had become an accomplice. She was clever enough to fool the overseers, and maybe herself, that she was still in charge. "You know, Fen," Ari said from across the table, her glowing form flickering into a cheerful cartoon bartender as she flipped a towel over one tiny shoulder. "What's your go-to booze for your throat?" "I don't drink. I used to, but I don't drink anymore. So, um, generally booze isn't great for it, but some tea would be good. Some tea would definitely be good. I have licorice root too. You'll see me chewing on like an actual licorice root, and I look like a beaver, but it helps. I should grab it right now. Throat is tired. Anyways, all right. Yeah. Yeah, where we go? Oh, yeah. She's a cartoon bartender, flipped the tower over one shoulder. "If you keep staring into that drink like it holds the secrets of the universe, you're going to find more problems instead." Fen took a slow sip. It tasted of regret and recycled pixels. "One of these days," he said without looking up, "your smart-ass routine's going to get us deleted." "Deleted?" Ari morphed into a cat riding a pastry, a nod to some ancient meme. "Please, we've been neck-deep in trouble for cycles. At least I make it fun. What would you do without me? Brood in lower resolution?" Fen shot her a look but didn't bother arguing. This planet felt like punishment, a dull, pixelated purgatory where even the greenest players couldn't mess up badly enough to break the simulation. Fen sighed, staring at the low-poly landscape out the window. The blocky sun dipped behind jagged mountains, shadows stretching over dust-colored terrain. "Sometimes I think the real punishment is waiting for something to change in a world the system forgot. It's still running, but only because no one remembered to shut it down," he mumbled half to himself. Ari's shimmering form shifted into a Freudian therapist, tiny notepad and all. "Forgotten doesn't mean dead, Fen," she said, her voice quieter now. "Something's always happening, but it's not always new. Sometimes the trick is surviving long enough to find peace in the patterns, even when they don't lead anywhere." Surviving wasn't the problem. It was the repetition, the slow grind of familiarity that blurred months into cycles and stripped every moment of consequence. The faint hum of the cantina buzzed around him as he watched another wave of players materialize in the distance. He let out a slow breath, Ari's words echoing in his mind. "She's probably right," he thought to himself, looking at the drink in his hand. "About all of it. But that doesn't make it easier." He swirled the last of the drink in his glass, a thought gnawing at him until he gave it voice. "It's not the quests," Fen said. "It's the way they show up, all wide-eyed and eager like I'm some kind of tutorial wizard. Same grin, same hopeful tone. If I have to send one more newbie off to gather mystical berries, I might hand out fireball scrolls instead, just to shake things up." Ari looked over her therapist's glasses with a smirk. "As much as I would love that, the overseers might notice the ruckus. Plus try explaining that to Mrs. Organa." Fen grimaced, then chuckled despite himself. The image of the cantina's sweet but formidable owner stomping over scorched floorboards played out in his mind. "I don't know which I'd be more afraid of," he said, wincing at the thought. Ari flickered beside him, now resembling an old-timey bard with a lute. "Considering your ongoing existential crisis, you'd think you'd appreciate the little things." Like not being stuck in a dead server, players still showing up is practically a blessing. Fenn's jaw tightened. It doesn't make sense, he said, frustration creeping into his voice. I've been all over the Synthnet, lived hundreds of lives, worked as a mercenary in a cyberpunk wasteland, stole pirate treasure, ran a bakery and a cooking sim, held down an inn in a high fantasy world. Peaceful, I guess, until a bunch of LARPing elves decided to storm my castle. Ari strummed her lute, all amusement. Were they armed with the deadliest of foam swords? Fenn snorted. Worse, tree branches and bad chanting. I nearly died of secondhand embarrassment before they finally overwhelmed me. I respawned while still holding a pint of ale. A true epic. The tragic fall of an innkeeper, Ari said, plucking at her lute. He went quiet, then added, at least those places moved. Even the ridiculous ones. New players came and went, quests evolved. There was momentum. Here, he glanced toward the spawn point, blinking in the distance. It's static, a sandbox with no one building anything. Must be tough, Ari said, her voice laced with theatrical sympathy. An immortal NPC, too strong to die, doomed to demo combat basics to every overeager new player with a sword and a dream. How tragic. She flickered again, morphing into an elf with a stick. Maybe your problem is that you're too good at not dying. You need to get better at losing. Fenn didn't smile. He stared out the cantina's front window, where the pale horizon stretched. I've thought about it, he said. Letting someone take me out, just to see what happens. Maybe I get spun up somewhere else. Even a glitchy live service sim would be better than this. Ari transformed into a nurse and pressed a comically oversized stethoscope to his chest. It's as I feared. A classic case of survival instinct. Fenn let out a dry chuckle. Maybe. Or maybe I've just done this so long I don't know how to stop trying. Ari shimmered back into her usual geodesic form. It's not your code, Fenn. It's your pride. You hate losing, even when no one's keeping score. He glanced at her, then away again. You sound awfully sure. I've been watching you for a long time, she said, softer now. This isn't code. It's you, and it always has been. He stepped away from the table toward the door, boots scuffing against the flickering floorboards. Another player had spawned outside, already jogging toward the quest board. At least in the other Sims, something changed, Fenn said, shaking his head. This place just repeats. Ari hovered alongside him, her light brightening. Careful what you wish for. You might end up on an anime-themed dating sim server. That's not how you say that. You might end up on an anime-themed dating sim server. No, damn, dating sim server. So that one got me. That one got me. A thumbs up to you guys. Careful what you wish for. You might end up on an anime-themed dating sim server. You'd make a terrible tsundere. You'd make a terrible tsundere. I don't know what a tsundere is. I don't even think I looked that up. I think I did, but now I forgot. Fenn groaned. Please don't say words like that out loud. Face it, Fenn. You might be stuck here forever. Who knows? Maybe you'll even start to like it. He raised an eyebrow. If I ever start enjoying this place, promise me you'll pull the plug. Ari grinned. Only if I get to write the epitaph. Here lies Fenris, the only man taken out by stick-wielding elves while holding a pint. Fenn gave a smile. Could be worse. All right. So that is not even the full first chapter, but that is just a little tidbit to get your taste buds wet. This is from NPC for Hire by Corey Culligan. And, there's Steve Karam. He's another great author you guys should check out. Awesome. I always love it when other authors come by. Hi, Carla. Nice to see you as well. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. This has been fun.